A very good afternoon to you, Kimathi. Now, we had a number of gainers and losers in today's trading session, but looking at a stock like Kobel, we had it up in today's trading session. That's after some rather disappointing results, but it seems that the market is still pretty positive on the stock.
Yes, indeed, the market still is very positive on this stock, Kobel. 2 weeks or so ago, they came out with some cautionary announcement that they may not make as high a profit as they did last week. So that profit warning kind of cooled down the stock's growth. But today now the market picked up on that stock price, and it was in part due to a very interesting article that put out Kobel as continuing to gain market share over its main competitor, which is Total. And keep in mind that with Kobel, there is also a planned acquisition that it's being acquired by one of the bigger players across the African and Middle Eastern continent. So Kobel, very good gains on the stock today, and the market continues to be very bullish about this stock.
Is that where you're putting your money right now, into Kobel instead of Total at this stage?
Yes, I think I would still put my money in Kobel. If you look at its PEs, it's still very attractive at about 7. You look at the performance year to date, it's very commendable. It's slightly over 50%. So Kobel, also looking forward, it still looks like a very good stock. Only that there are those concerns about the forex exposure, the financing exposure, and the debt. Not the debt, but actually the stock level management. And these are the issues which Puma Energy is coming in to help Kobel try and address. Keep in mind also it's a Pan-African player, so Kobel all in all looking fairly positive.
Another company which made some positive moves in today's trading session was Onga Group. It ended up 2.73% in the green. Any particular reason that stock is up today?
Well, Onga Group actually has been a gainer for one of the best performing stocks actually in the year. It's been gaining slowly over time. It's up about 70% year to date, and it's trading at a very, very low PE levels of just slightly over 4 at a PE of about 4. So Onga Group, and we actually expect its earnings to come out in the next fortnight or so. And one of the things that has happened over the past year is that the highly inflationary environment that has been witnessed over the first half of the year, it is stocks such as Onga Group, which are consumer stocks that really actually benefit in that kind of environment, because they are able to very easily pass on any inflationary exposure to their consumers. So one would expect very good results from Onga Group, and it has continued rallying. So I would actually also put in money in Onga Group at this point.
Looking at some of the stocks that were quite positive in last week's trading session, that was East African Breweries. Now, this is ahead of the book closures for the dividend payments. Talk us through East African Breweries. Is it a stock that you're currently playing with at this stage?
Yes, East African Breweries is a big blue chip stock, which is never off the table, so to speak. So the bets on East African Breweries are always there and standing. Now, keep in mind that there has been a lot of increased competition with the brewing wars, with a lot of the beverage wars. So the competition for the throat market, so to speak, is increasingly over time. But East African Breweries continues to command the market share that really needs it really needs, and the shareholders at the end of the day always go home a happy lot. So East African Breweries, although not too much happening on this particular day, it still is a stock to keep an eye on.
Now, a stock that was specifically under pressure in today's trading session was Portland. Is there specific news around Portland at this stage, and as to why we see such a big decline in the stock today?
Yes, there was quite a reduction on Portland cement stock. I think it fell about 4%. And for a long time, this stock has not been particularly an investor pick, so to speak. owing to a couple of management issues that came to the fore earlier in the year, and the stock has really had a slide over the past few months, and investors are still worried about these issues on the particular stock. And further afield also, we're seeing a lot more competition coming in, not on the listed side, but for unlisted cement miners. We're seeing a lot more farms being set up that are going to increase the cement production in the country. So East African Portland is one of the few that actually looks like it's bearing the heat of the increased competitive space and a few management concerns.
A company that was in the news today was Access Kenya, going to expand across the country. Could you talk us through the type of opportunities that are available for this company going forward?
Well, Access Kenya actually is playing on one of the big issues that came out last year, which is that the country is moving into a devolved government system, and everyone is looking to move and establish themselves across many other towns, with the exception of Nairobi and Mombasa, where most of the farms are already located in. So with the expansion of farms into towns further afield, Access Kenya is well placed to actually go out and be first in market to put out these fiber optic lines to avail their services to the corporate farms. They have a strong market share of about 40% as far as the data market is concerned, and that is what they're really trying to capture. However, that aside, one of the big issues is the concerns and the risks that this kind of an expansion comes in line with. We have cable cuts, we have theft, we have also lower buying power especially the retail segment of the society in those other towns. So these are some risks that one would actually want to have in mind, but nonetheless, Access Kenya is still looking very strong. Their cash flow has much improved. Their profitability position has also much improved over the previous 2 years. So one would definitely want to keep an eye out on Access Kenya.
Some interesting news out this week. That 15-year Kenyan bond, with a lot of investors saying they are looking to pile into this bond at a rate of about 11%. Do you see investors going into this bond? Are you one of those investors?
Oh yes, indeed. With the interest rates coming down, investors are out there looking for however higher yield as much higher yield they can get. And with this kind of environment of interest rates coming down, expected to continue over the next 2 or 3 months, definitely investors, the mutual funds, the insurance companies will really be eager to get as much of this particular paper as they can. And I foresee it being very highly oversubscribed. And also keep in mind that one of the issues that actually has not been spoken too much about is the increase in liquidity on the Kenyan sphere. And one of the things that really has brought about that has been the aspect of mobile banking, which has really brought in a lot of the unbanked into the banking system, and that has in turn somehow increased liquidity quite a bit. So institutional investors are finding themselves with increased funds, and these are the kind of opportunities that everyone is looking out for. So this bond, I foresee, will have quite a high oversubscription rate.